Hello, welcome to Juniper Level Botanic Garden, the home of Plant Delights Nursery. I've gotten real dirty today, digging plants for the nursery and transplanting things around in the garden. And this is one of my favorite plants in the garden, at least in my top 10,000. It actually might make the top 100. You'll probably all recognize this. This is Philodendron selloum. Not so common a houseplant nowadays, but it used to be one of the most common houseplants probably in the 1970s when there was a big houseplant craze. It's basically a tropical philodendron from South America. This one is actually from a source in Uruguay. It certainly occurs in Brazil as well. Now, I am not planting this as a summer fancy, but this has been in the garden since 2003. That means it's gone through 22 winters without protection. We don't mulch it. I've never been asked to curl up around it on the coldest nights, nor have any of my co-workers. I swear to a pile of Bibles that none of us have given it any protection. Now, it is a little bit like some of the elephant ears. The trunk will grow, lengthen, and Philodendron selloum is actually not a climber, but it develops a tall, above ground stem. But with our winters, every year that stem dies to the ground, so it has to start back each spring. It's always late in coming up. Always worried that this might be the year that it doesn't come up, but it always returns. So I've dug a hole here to plant it. But you know, one of the other points I want to make, it is August 11th. It is the middle of summer. We're having a unusually mild spell, almost chilly. It's only about 83 degrees today, and we've had some rain. Normally, it could be, 10 degrees warmer or more, and often we get dry spells in the summer. But you can plant all summer long, provided that you can keep it watered. Our soil is variable. Most of the property has a sandy loam. We are on the edge of the coastal plain. This area has a bit of clay. You can even see some raw clay that's approaching a red clay. I guess it's not all clays are the same. Notice how readily this clay crumbles in my hand. It's probably not even a pure clay. But because it has a bit of clay in the soil, it won't need to be watered as frequently if I was planting it in a part of the garden with sandy soil. So, like if you are obsessive plant lover like I am, I tend to buy things whenever I see them. If you plant them and water them long enough to get them established, maybe it takes a couple weeks, soon they will need less watering than if you kept them in pots. Some people buy things in the summer and think they can't plant them then, but then they have to water it once a day as long as it remains in a container. Why am I transplanting this? Because these were in part of the property that is behind the scenes, and our visitors didn't get to enjoy them, and we're putting them in this very prominent location. It's in our 49 garden. We designate the gardens by their house number. And it's really near the welcome tent when we have an open house. And this is one of the many exciting plants in the garden because Tony Avent is always willing to try something that shouldn't be hardy, shouldn't tolerate our winters, shouldn't tolerate our summers, and not all the time, but often we have a bit of surprise, and this was one. In digging this hole, I uncovered some narcissus bulbs, which I'll replant once I'm done planting this. You know, when I work with a soil that has some clay, and it reminds me of that campaign commercial, where's the meat or where's the beef, whatever it was. And I think if you are lucky enough to have some clay in your soil, you will have a much easier time getting things established, and they'll get through dry spells more readily than if the soil was sandy. Now, I'm old-fashioned. Younger professionals are often saying, oh, don't firm the soil down around the plants. I was always taught to. When I was in high school, I worked with a gentleman who was past retirement age and had worked as an estate gardener on Long Island when there were such things. And he potted things so firmly you could pick the plant up pick up the pot by the plant, and I certainly believe in firming them down. Plants in the real world don't end up living in fluffy soil. Okay. And did I do this wrong, Kit Kat? Oh Lord. She never approves of my planting jobs. Okay. Well, now I'm gonna water it, and because this is a half sunny location and the soil is a bit more water retentive than some of our soil, I'll probably water it every other day, provided we don't have a rain. Well, I hope at some point you'll come out and visit this plant that has been surprisingly winter hardy for us. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you again in the garden.